Good afternoon, and welcome. Of course, you know what time it is. It's time for the one and only, that lady that works day and night, 7 nights, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I wonder, do she ever take a time off? I'm talking about the one and only, that community activist, Miss Georgia Allen. How you doing?
Well, hello. It's always good to be at high noon on Thursdays.
No doubt.
How are you today,
I'm doing
Henderson?
great. I'm doing great. I ain't gonna complain because if I do, I have to stand in line.
That is so very true.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to, just open up the airwaves to us. Again, I am Georgia F. Allen with GA for Just Is, because it just is the right time to do all things right. So, with that being said, today's topic, of course, is one of my favorite KWANZAA principles. They all are, but I love self-determination because sometimes we can get a little sluggish sometimes. So Kuji Chaga Leah, and that is also our topic for today. It's not just our KWANZAA principle for today, but it's also our topic, a topic of self-determination. And so Kuji Chaga Leah is to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. If anybody knows me, I don't like other people speaking for me. And we are not to allow others to define us or speak for us. And so, with that being said, today's topic is self-determination. Vote. And our scripture today is Ephesians 6:12-13, which says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world." And I'm using this scripture because with self-determination, you got to be able to fight against all obstacles. So again, this is Thursday. I am Georgia F. Allen with GA for Justice. And as always, we want to thank Mr. Henderson Vaughn, aka Captain 85, aka the Dream Maker, who has opened up the airwaves to bring our listening audience a simple conversation, a conversation for information, a conversation for correction when necessary, as well as a conversation for transformation. I always like to use a disclaimer because most of you are very much aware of the work that I do in the area of civil rights and in the area as a community activist, which I have done for decades. Therefore, the various positions that I take are mine and mine alone. They don't belong to anybody, not affiliated with any organizations that I'm associated with. They are simply mine alone. So don't get it twisted. I don't speak on this on behalf of any groups or any organization. I speak for myself. Now, I may make announcements about groups or organizations based upon what is going on in our local community or what is going on nationally, but I'm not speaking at it from a position of the organization. I'm speaking on behalf of announcements that I make. But I'm going to take a moment to pause for personal privilege. Unfortunately, I lost a very dear nephew of mine last night who lived in New Mexico. So while I was out in Las Vegas in July, it was my plan to visit with him. However, I could not find a flight that would work and ultimately did not make the trip because I thought I would have another opportunity to visit with him in the future. That will not happen. Time is finite. And as I will not be able to see my nephew Michael alive again, I will not be able to have our wonderful talks or laughs, and how he would always talk about his mom. Um, she didn't believe in canned foods. She believed in cooking from scratch. So he would always say, Auntie, Mama did not like any canned foods. If we're going to cook something, whether it's soup or anything else. It cannot come out of the can. You got to figure out a way to make it from scratch. So today I would like to encourage you to be determined, to be intentional, and make sure that you get the things done on your bucket list. Mine was to visit New Mexico, which is a state that I have never been to. And so it was my plan to visit him this year, but not for a funeral, but for some good old fun time. So with that being said, I will miss my nephew, Michael, and self-determination. As we have this upcoming election, my nephew Michael, he was dedicated to come to vote for Kamala Harris. Now, I'm not sure if they've had an early vote in New Mexico yet or not, but I know what his passion was. And he fought a good fight. He's unfortunately passed away from prostate cancer. And so he also fought against hatred, discrimination, and the mistreatment of others. So on behalf of my nephew, tomorrow, of course, is early voting here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So as I cast my personal ballot, I will also cast a ballot in my heart for my nephew, Michael, because this is a tough one. So with that being said, we all need to do something, okay? Because we're losing our friends and our families and those that we may have watched on television or seen in concert for years. We've lost a number of folks recently.
Yeah.
And so I want to encourage on this show about self-determination. Be determined to do those things that you may have put on the shelf or that you're going to put off, or you say you're going to do it later. Be determined to get those things done. Be determined to visit that loved one. Be determined to take that trip. Be determined. Be intentional, because it's all about self-determination. You cannot afford to put things off, because tomorrow is not promised. And it's not promised to maybe yourself or maybe a loved one. So be determined. So self-determination again. Tomorrow is the first day of early voting in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Tomorrow is September the 20th. That is also my daughter's birthday. So I'm going to celebrate her birthday and also be determined about making sure that I work very diligently with regards to elections this year. And not that I don't work diligently each and every year, because Virginia is one of those places that vote every single year. But I would like to ask my listening audience to go to the polls on tomorrow and vote in memory of someone. Maybe it's a loved one that you had that did not live to see election day this year, did not live long enough to place their vote. So what I need from you today is I need you to call. I need you to text. I need you to go door to door. I need you to place on all of your social media platforms. Vote, vote, and vote. Now, I have been going to local barbershops and beauty salons and nail shops, putting this information in their shops to say, look, if you scan the code, it will allow you to check your voter registration, because I'm determined to fight on behalf of those who may not be able to fight for themselves. He leaves behind 4 children, a wife and 4 children. And so on behalf of my nephew, if you're out there listening today, check your voter registration. Check and make sure you're still registered in your local area. Don't take it for granted that when you get to the polls that you're going to be able to vote. So go online, check your registration, verify that you are still registered to vote, because they're removing people's names from the voting rolls. So again, it's about self-determination. It's not about making assumptions that everything is A-okay, because everything is not necessarily A-okay. So again, To my listening audience, I'm asking you to go to polls and vote. Vote in the memory again of my nephew, Michael Berry, or vote in memory of your loved ones, or vote in celebration of a loved one that is just turning 18. Maybe they don't live in your state, maybe they live somewhere else. And in celebration of them, commemorate those who we've lost and vote. This is about being determined. You know, you need to be engaged, you need to participate, and you need to mobilize. You cannot take this election for granted. Again, don't leave a stone unturned.
Denny's defense team was always the underdog in the argument, and that's because of the crime.
I'm really struggling right now with one of the candidates that's on the ballot. That candidate that says he has a healthcare solution that is simply a concept.
Is attempting to sell his plane.
That doesn't sit well with me.
24/7. However, prosecutors.
My nephew lost his life to prostate cancer. Cancer is not a concept.
Including text messages.
It is a reality. And we definitely need someone in office who will actually improve the health care of Americans and not just allow corporations to make health care a for-profit machinery.
Richmond turning on
Your voice matters. Your vote counts. So anybody out here saying, oh, well, it doesn't count. Yes, it does. Because we would have never had the Affordable Care Act if it wasn't for the fact that our voice and our vote matters. That would never have happened. We would have never had a lowering of the inflation had we not voted. We would have never had the lowering of health insurance premiums had we not voted. So be very clear. These are the things that have been delivered to us under this current administration. A cap on the cost of insulin for seniors of $35 and the ability to negotiate with Medicare. That would not have happened. So your vote does matter. And you must be determined day in and day out to elect people to office who will work on the issues that you care about. Crack down on price gouging by corporations with hidden junk fees. That is happening because you voted. And someone cares enough about you to make it a law, not a concept, okay?
And you know, it's sad because when people say foolish stuff, they got a concept. We'll still be in slavery, or
exactly.
And the same thing when they say my vote don't count. Well, right. How come the black men vote don't count, but the white people are in line?
Exactly. Absolutely. And if your vote didn't count, why would they fight so hard to try to prevent you from voting?
Yeah.
If your vote didn't count, why would they fight so hard to redraw districts to make it virtually impossible for you to elect anybody of your choice if your vote didn't count?
Yes. It's that mentality because they don't. A lot of people don't read history. When black people was allowed to register to vote, they had to go through hoops and changes. They had to read something. We had to say numbers.
Count marbles in a bottle. Count the number of jelly beans in a jar. Yeah. All types of things. And the people of today want to sit here and be dismissive or voting.
Yeah.
And it's very, very troubling because we need to be determined when it comes to voting, not dismissive when it comes to voting. And as I think about this election that's coming up in November, and I listen to what people are saying out here, and I hear these people from all walks of life, rich people, poor people, national figures determining whether somebody should speak out or not speak out. And believe you me, I don't want anybody and everybody who hasn't done their homework to try to suggest that we take one route or another. But people who have done their homework, people who have picked up a book and read, people who have looked at legislation and understand the impact, be it negative or positive, that it's having, I want them to speak out. See, back in the day, a lot of our artists and musicians did not speak out. And the reason why they did not speak out is because they had a voice of civil rights activists. And so what they did is they put money into the civil rights movement so that they would have what they needed in order to fight for the issues that was of value. But while you may not have seen them speak out publicly, they were speaking to those people who were working on their behalf. I just watched Mahalia Jackson movie document. It was kind of like a movie. And Mahalia fought tooth and nail for others. She saved her money instead of going out and buying the fanciest of fancy. She did have some things.
Yeah.
But she was interested more in making sure that those who came behind her, those who did not have, she put money where it needed to go to ensure that persons would be better off. So while she may not have been the loud voice, what she would not do is take and deal with foolishness. So she did her own fights over and over again. So it's a really good show to watch, to look at how she fought against injustice. She would not, when she did her performances, which I thought was smart as all get up, she would do the first part of the show, but she went and got her money. She says, I will not finish this show unless you pay me, because you're not going to sit here and let me do a whole entire show and then you run out the back door and never give me my money. Okay. So she stopped in the middle of the show. She stopped. Thank you, Bernita. She stopped in the middle of the show and she went to the people who put on the concert, and she made them give her money midway the concert versus staying there until the end of the show. And then these suckers run out the back door and take all the money and never pay her. So let me tell you, our people were fighting all the time.
Yep.
All the time they were fighting. All the time they were self-determined. They were not going to be sitting there and letting somebody screw them over. The self-determination of our people is unbelievable throughout the times, throughout the civil rights movement. They were geniuses, okay? Because guess what? She didn't have a education. She stopped school early. She dealt with all type of situations, mistreatment and everything. But the one thing she understood was money. Because she started out with one music company and she ended up going to Columbia and she sold music like crazy. And they didn't even want her, still didn't want her to go in certain venues and things. She sang at Carnegie Hall and they wanted to mistreat her and she wasn't interested in being mistreated. So she was still in the fight. Even when she had to fight alone, Mahalia Jackson still fought. So ladies and gentlemen, to all of you who are out there listening, we've always been self-determined. We've always been willing to fight. And so I want you guys to get out there and vote. Vote because we can determine who will be elected president, to senator, from senator to congressperson, from the congressperson to the mayor, from the mayor to the city council members, from the city council members to the school board, and from the school board to the sheriff. So you need to vote every part of the ticket. Even if there are people up there that you don't like very well, because I'm sure there's plenty on the ticket that I probably don't like very well.
Hello.
What I'm looking for is to get the numbers up so that when the president walks in office, they have a strong enough Senate and a strong enough Congress that they can get the legislation that I want to see pass. All right, it's that time to take a moment to do some announcements. There is a lot of things going on. And really, there's far more than I can possibly announce in this period of time. But I'm gonna have a few announcements, acknowledgments, and commemorations. Again, we lost another member of a musical family, the Jackson. We lost Tito Jackson on the 15th of September. And so we want to send much love and support to the Jackson family. Because it's never easy losing a family member. As you all who have been on here from the start of my show, you know that I also lost a family member this week as well. But we also want to ask you to join the Virginia Beach NAACP. We need you. There are gaps and holes in every organization, and we need some strong civil rights soldiers.
And it revealed more.
We got a whole lot of people that joined the NAACP and joined different groups and organizations, but they don't focus on the mission of the association itself. And so we're going to need some soldiers to come in to help us move the association forward, to stay focused on what our real issues are. So joining the NAACP, you go online and pull up vbnaacp.org and join the NAACP. We meet the second Monday of every month at the Hive at 7 p.m. It's located at the corner of Independence Boulevard and Columbus Street, right there in the heart of the town center. So we want to invite you to come and join us. If there's an area that you love, that you'd like to work in, please join us. Also, September is Black Dollar Days. I want to encourage you to go and support Black-owned business all throughout the month of September. It's important that we keep our money in our community and that the dollar turns over more than one time. So I want, again, support Black-owned businesses, be they small shops, be they bookstores, barbershops, beauty salons, restaurants. Go out and support Black-owned businesses. So it's Black Dollar Days, support Black-owned businesses all month long in September. Just think, if the whole month of September we only purchase from Black-owned businesses, other than getting our gas and our groceries, think about what an impact that would have in our community. Also, this month, the month of September, is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Do your part. If you can donate blood, donate blood. If you can attend an activity or event, attend, support, volunteer. And I'm going to announce some of the events that'll be going on. Tomorrow, of course, is September the 20th. And Virginia Beach is having an early vote day where you're white. I'm even wearing a red heart in commemoration of our forefathers and the hard-fought battles to secure our voting rights. And I believe that heart it recognizes our heartbeat, our heritage, our legacy, our lineage, our bloodshed, our sacrifice, and it recognizes our future. That's what that heart stands for me. And so we want to encourage you to please go out and vote tomorrow, September the 20th. It's the first day of early voting. And we want you to wear your white, and we want to see white all over the city of Virginia Beach, but we want to see it all over the area where you're going to vote, whether you're voting in Norfolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth. We're encouraging people to go out and vote, because if people see us coming out in droves, it sends a very strong message. So I'm pushing people to go to the polls tomorrow, vote early. If you vote early, your vote will be counted, and you won't have to worry about if I break my leg a week before election day. It was too late for me to order a ballot, and now all of a sudden I got to figure out, can somebody roll me to the polls on election day, November the 5th. So we are encouraging people to vote in person, because there's a lot of negativity going on with the mail-in ballot. We have a person who's serving as a head of the Postal Service who is very partial to the person who does not want us to vote.
He joins us now live from Fort Monroe.
So we ask you to please vote in person. There are a lot of days that you will have to vote early. So tomorrow is one of those days. Go to the polls and vote early tomorrow. Bring a family friend, bring family, and bring our young people. Bring our young people to the polls to vote, and let them see the process. And when you vote early, you actually put the ballot in the machine yourself. When you vote by mail, someone else put the ballot in the machine. And a lot of people love to vote by mail, and that can be a positive, but it also can ultimately be a negative if the head of the Postal Service what if he decides he's going to shut the Postal Service down for 2 or 3 weeks? We don't know what DeJoy is going to do. We have no idea what trickery he may have, because he's trying his best to get this orange thing to win an election. And again, I'm speaking for myself, okay? Just so you know, the disclaimer is out there. I'm speaking for myself.
Well, let me speak then.
Go ahead.
If you don't get out there and vote, you can sit around and mess around. You see how they structure everything.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a man that he's the only person in history that's been trying to be assassinated twice.
And that's been very interesting, that supposedly they tried to assassinate him twice.
Right.
And the people that tried to assassinate him,
right,
it appears that both of them are from the same party that he's from.
And they all seem to be like it's like they loners, and they just come up with this idea, hey, I'm going to try to take out the top man in an election. That don't even make sense. It's like this stuff is like organized into say, let's get these people that nobody know nothing about, but they've been influenced by the people that's running for the election.
And it's kind of interesting, these alleged assassination attempts.
Right.
How do you get to the golf course? How do you even know where the golf course is?
Hello.
Yeah, they might say Mar-a-Lago, but I don't think he's the only person that lives in Mar-a-Lago. I think there's a neighborhood. Okay. Yeah. All right. So how is it that you somehow, especially someone like that? Now, if I heard that one of the senators got mad with him and they decided to hire somebody or something, that would be one thing. But this total stranger out of the blue can weave their way, can get to a fence and everything.
Yeah.
And then poke the gun through, but don't shoot nobody. Hello. So is that really an assassination attempt? If I didn't actually make an actual attempt, how is it an assassination attempt?
Right.
It sounds like a concept to me.
That's what I'm saying here's a man, he's got a gun, but he's just in the vicinity, but he's nowhere near him on the golf course.
Right. Nowhere near him on the golf course, but that's an assassination attempt.
I think
Really?
what they're doing
Really,
is
it's making news.
it's making news. So every
making
time
news. Okay, let me see. I'm not getting on TV quite enough.
Thank you.
So if I find some folk to perhaps pretend, we're not sure. So it's alleged, so we're not sure. Right. So I can't say what actually happened. But that can give me a few minutes on national TV. Since I really don't want to run a campaign anyway.
Hello.
Okay, since I really don't. I'm out here, but I really don't really want to run a campaign. Okay. But again, tomorrow on the 20th, we are encouraging people to go out and wear their white, go to the polls early and vote. And after you vote, between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m., there will be an after vote happy hour. And this is an NAACP supported event. And we're encouraging people to please go out. And so that means if you want to go and vote around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can leave the polling place and then head over to happy hour at 757 Premier Events, located at 2014 Atlantic Avenue here in the city of Virginia Beach at the oceanfront. And this will allow you to talk and mingle with others who have gone to the polls and voted. We hope that we get quite a few people voting early. I know I will be voting early. I know there are others who will be voting early. And yes, I will be wearing my white, and I will also be wearing my heart. Okay. On September the 28th, I'm making the announcement early because I want to make sure that people have a week to put this on their calendar. On September the 28th, there is going to be a health and wellness fair at Community Resources. There will be health experts and wellness checks. There will be raffle prizes, etc. This is located at 525 South Military Highway in the city of Virginia Beach. So it sounds like it's going to be somewhere near the College Park area. All right. So pull it up on your GPS, and we hope to see a lot of people there on Saturday, the 28th, for a health and wellness fair. Again, that's going to also be a fair where they will be doing wellness check. They're going to be focusing on sickle cell anemia, so there will be resources available there as well. And then also on that very same day at 9 a.m., there will be Sickle Cell Stadium Walk. And it will be held at Norfolk State University, the Dick Price Stadium. If you're going to participate in the walk, there is a $50 registration fee that will supply you with your registration and also a T-shirt for the walk. And again, that is for sickle cell anemia disease. You can go online to sickle cell HRVA for Hampton Roads, Virginia .org. And if you're planning on participating in the walk, do a /register or /register. If one doesn't work, try the other way.
Here for everything.
So anyway, we want to encourage you to get involved, especially when it comes to our health care. Health is very, very, very important. And we need to do everything in our power to stay healthy, because there are a lot of diseases going on all around, and we need to take more time to do preventative things. That's why I'm looking for someone that is interested in serving as the president of the United States that has a plan and not a concept. Okay. I want somebody that's interested in taking a look at ways that we can have preventative measures so that we're not constantly taking medicine all of our lives. One of the things that the current administration is doing is they extended the health coverage to Black women who have given birth from 2 to 12 months. It used to be 2 months for health coverage, and now they're extending that, and they're helping to address Black maternal health mortality. And there's a young lady named Lauren Underwood, who is a nurse by trade, who serves in our Congress out of the state of Illinois. And she fought for Black maternal health legislation. So know who you're voting for. I don't care whether they are in Virginia, Carolina, Georgia, Illinois, Michigan. Folks, know who you're voting for. Know who's working on issues that affect you and affect your family. They're also fighting to lower the cost of child care, elder care, and preschool.
Officials are hoping to turn a new path forward for it.
And so we want to make sure that we have persons elected to office who are working on issues that affect our family.
Balloons, trampolines, the hobby horse.
It is critically important that we have people who are fighting for things that we care about, that are important to us.
These will be announced in November.
And
84 toys have been inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame.
this is a critical time for us, y'all.
The news story will drop some names expected to.
Ain't no game out there.
It is a critical time for us.
Lopez is
A
taking
very critical time.
producing projects.
And of course, today,
And
message is self-determination. And anybody that knows me know I love acronyms. So while I did not break down the acronym of determination, I broke down the acronym of self. So for me, S stands for strength. When you're fighting against powers and principalities, and you're fighting against rulers of darkness, and you're being self-determined, you must have strength. You got to have strength. You cannot be a weakling. So the S is for strength. And with that strength, you want to fight for what is the best for your community. Can't be a weakling.
No.
You got to have strength. The E stands for embracing your willingness to be a fighter. You got to embrace it. You can't just sit here and say, well, yeah, I'm going to fight. And then, oh, well, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. There may not be a tomorrow. So embrace that willingness to fight. Embrace it. Then there's another letter, L. L is you got to be in it. It's longevity. You got to be in it for the long haul. You cannot keep starting and stopping when you're self-determined. You got to be in it for the long haul. Many of us have no longevity in us whatsoever. The minute we hit a roadblock, a stumbling block, a barrier, we're done. So that says to me, you don't have a whole lot of strength. That's what it says to me. You don't have a lot of strength. If any little hiccup can cause you to stop, you're not very self-determined.
Yeah.
Not at all. And the last letter, F, is fierce. You got to be a fierce fighting machine. You got to be willing to take down anything that stands in your way.
Hello?
Anything that is preventing you from getting to your goal. Anything that is allowing other people to change the outcome. You're allowing other people to speak for you. Every time you get upset about something, you stop speaking. You decide to shut up. You got to be fierce, baby. You got to be fired up and ready to fight, ready to work, ready to get the job done, ready to vote. You got to have a fierce determination. Self-determination, you got to be fierce. You got to have strength. You got to be willing to have longevity, and you got to be able to embrace that fight, because it's not going to be easy. No one ever said it would be easy. Never. It wasn't easy for Dr. King. It wasn't easy for Ralph Abernathy. It wasn't easy for Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth. It was not easy, but they were fierce. They were warriors. They were determined. They had strength. They embraced themselves. They embraced the power that they had within themselves, and they refused to give up. Refuse. You got to have that type of determination. You got to have it. This is not a joke. This is serious business. This is very serious business. And don't treat voting like it's an option. No, it's not an option. You need to vote. You need to be determined. You need to be a fighter. You can't sit here and wait for somebody else to do for you what you can do for yourself. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. I had a number of topics this month so far, I mean, I've talked about focus. I've talked about fight. I've talked about finishing. Don't get in a fight if you ain't willing to finish the fight, okay? Don't get in a fight if you're not willing to focus on what needs to get done. Don't do it. Fear mongering, yeah, there's a whole lot of that going on out here. They want to make you scared.
Hello.
Sit here and tell you, oh, no, you can't do it. Oh, man, no. Guess what?
I'll be more scared after the election.
There we go. There we go. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. If we don't get out here and do what we need to do, what we have to do, why we have to do it, if we don't do those things, guess what? Somebody is going to do their thing. And guess what? You're going to be out back. You are going to be out back.
Yeah.
And so, yes, there's work to do. Is it easy? Nah, it's not easy. But you know what? The things that are worth fighting for are not easy fights.
Hey.
They're not easy fights.
Long hours.
Never been an easy fight.
Yeah.
When it's worth fighting for, it's not an easy fight, baby. I got to put my hand on my chin like our sister who's about to be the president of the United States. Got to put my hand underneath my chin to hold my chin up. Okay.
Hello. Let them know.
Because we who believe in freedom cannot do what? We can't rest, can we?
Ain't no weary for the weary.
Who believe in freedom cannot rest. And see, we got to understand what it's about, what freedom is about. Freedom is about a fight to the finish. Freedom is about self-determination. Freedom is about ensuring that you make things better for those who come behind you. That's what self-determination is all about. Self-determination is not something that we do temporarily. Self-determination is about staying the course. Okay? That's what it's about. So as we talk about self-determination again, It is to define ourselves, to name ourselves, to create for ourselves and speak for ourselves, and do not allow others to define us or speak for us. That's self-determination. Last week and the week before, we talked about unity. Because see, all of these come together. All of this comes together. Unity or umoja. To strive for and maintain unity in the family, the community, the nation, and the race. See, we got to be united. But being united without any determination, we're going to fall off, y'all. That means we're going to stay united for a minute, and the minute something comes along, we're going to drop off. We're going to lose the soldiers. So while we're being united, we got to be determined. We got to be focused. We got to be fierce. We got to have strength. We got to embrace who we are. Can't be weaklings, y'all. We got to have longevity. This is not a temporary fight. It's got to be sustainable. And bottom line is you got to be fierce. You have got to be fierce. You cannot just start a fight unless you're willing to finish the fight. You got to be fierce. So self-determination is the power or the ability to make a decision for oneself without the influence of others. Don't allow others to take you off track. Make your decisions for yourself, for the betterment of who you are, for your family. Make that decision. You have to do that. You have to have that self-determination that's all the way down in your gut. Oh my God. Woo! This is one of those days when you're like, woo.
Yeah. As they say, we are soldiers in the army.
Exactly.
You know, when you're on God's time,
it's one of those tough days. Again, for those of you who weren't here at the beginning of the show, I lost a nephew last night. He was a special guy, really, really special guy. And so self-determination is really probably the best topic that I could have used of the KWANZAA principles today, because one, I was determined that I was still going to do the show.
Okay.
Two, I was determined to share a little bit about him. And three, I'm determined not to quit, not to give up, not to back down. Determined. Okay? So let's talk about determination on its own, by itself, just by itself. It's firm, it's resolute, it is unflinching, and willing to do whatever it takes to reach that goal. So we're talking about our community. We got to do whatever it takes to reach the goal of helping our next generation to turn things around, getting them involved in the things that are of benefit to them. Okay, we got to be unflinching. We got to be firm, and we got to be resolute. There can't be any backing down, backing away. We can't have any of that. Our families, our communities, they're too important. They're absolutely too important for us to back down. Again, because we who believe in freedom, we cannot rest. We cannot be comfortable. We must be comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay? The only comfort we can have is comfortable in being uncomfortable, making it to our goal. Because reaching these goals can sometimes be a little uncomfortable. We got to get in rooms that we may not want to be in. We got to talk to people that we may not want to talk to.
Tell them
We got
again.
to have that unwavering determination that makes us stick to it regardless. So to those of you who are listening today, I am Georgia Allen. This is GA4 Just Is. Come to you every single solitary week, every Thursday at 12 noon. Through the good times, the bad times, the hard times, the sad times, I come to you each and every week at 12 noon on Thursdays. And we're getting close to the closing. And the other one that I want to talk about, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose, singing freedom. Freedom, where are you? Because I need freedom too. I break chains all by myself. Go ahead, Kamala. Won't let my freedom rot in hell. Hey, I'ma keep running. Keep on running, Kamala, because a winner don't quit on themselves. So we have a candidate out there running for freedom for you and me, for our families. And so tomorrow is election day, the first day of early voting. You have an opportunity to go out and fight for your freedom. But as you're fighting for your freedom, recognize that you're fighting for freedom for others. Recognize when you're fighting for healthcare, housing, you're fighting for others. See, because housing should be something that everybody should have. Everybody. That's what self-determination is about. Healthcare should be something everybody has. Food on the table is something that everybody should have. People should not be overcharged to have a roof over their head. They should not be gouging people just to have a roof over their head. They should not be gouging people to have food. So we have a choice on tomorrow. Are you going to vote for the person who's going to work to lower costs to our families? Or are you going to vote for a person who's excited about their buddies gouging the average American citizen? The choice is yours.
Yep.
The choice is yours. And again, we're talking about self-determination today. We're talking about being resolute, being unflinching, willing to do whatever it takes to reach our goal. We got a goal, guys. We have a goal to elect someone to office who's going to work on our behalf. Again, we need to vote because we're going to determine who will be elected for all these seats on the ballot, from the president to the senator, from the senator to the congressman, from the congressperson to the mayor, from the mayor to the council members, from the council members to the school board, and from the school board to the sheriff. All of those things are on the ballot here in the city of Virginia Beach. Now, what's on the ballot in other places, I don't know. But if it's on the ballot, you need to vote. If it's on the ballot, you need to educate yourself about who's on the ballot and what they stand for. And are they standing for things that is important to you in your community? And to all of you people who are out there that said, well, I don't know enough about her. I got a problem with that.
Hello.
Because you have never once asked anybody for their resume, be they Democrat or Republican. If the party brought you a candidate, you ain't asked one word.
Hello.
You just voted. So to all of you where she's not saying enough about this, that, and third. Well, guess what? We got somebody out there that's got concepts.
Hello.
Okay. Somebody out there that's got a Project 2025. You know what Project 2025 says? I'm going to get rid of education.
Hello.
You know what Project 2025 says? I'm going to get rid of overtime. So now corporations can work you as long as they want. So why did he say he's no longer going to tax overtime? Because there will be no overtime if Project 2025 comes into existence.
Hello.
So know the candidates and know what they stand for. And with that being said, it's closing. As I said, over the last week or so, we've talked about focus, fight, and finish. With self-determination, we are determined not to give up. If the goal is worth fighting for, we will never give up and we will never give in. Voting is our mission. So let's make sure we fight, that we win, and that we finish. With that being said, this is Georgia Allen, GA for Justice, and we'll see you next week.
Ain't no doubt about it. Don't forget another great show, another great episode, and don't turn that down. Next week, she'll be back next Thursday from 12 until 1. And of course, it's going to be more fun because she's going to bring it. She's going to bring it to you like it's supposed to be done. The truth and nothing but the light. Until next Thursday, this has been GA for Justice with your community activist, the one and only Miss Georgia Allen. Until next time, you know what to do. You know what to do.
All right.